We're going to start with the new Plimoth Gard.
Right.
So what is that?
Well, the new Plymouth Guard, of course, is a reenactment of the idea when the Pilgrims first came here, every man was a soldier.
Oh.
Everyone, it's the origin of the militia in the United States. And so every man was there to help defend his family and the town. So it'll be interesting. Their costumes, every part of their weaponry, everything is authentic to the year 1621.
Excellent. Let's take a look at it.
My wife and I, Gail, started the new Plymouth Gard 3.5 years ago when we realized that for all the reenactor groups that come to the Thanksgiving parade, there was none reenacting the Plymouth militia. So started the group shortly after that, and this will actually be our 4th Thanksgiving parade that we will have been in this year. We started with a core group of 10 people who we just advertised around town and put a notice in the Old Colony and found people who actually wanted to do the same thing we did, which was great. So we started the group, we met, we started putting together costumes, and in the course of just a few months, we put together and had 10 people in the Thanksgiving parade. That was 4 years ago now. We've been doing it ever since. We research our drills using a book that was published in 1608 in Holland by Jacob de Gayen. And that book was a book that almost certainly Miles Standish owned. He had fought in wars in Holland before he came with the Pilgrims to America. So we're using authentic matchlock musket and pike drills that were written in 1608 and then widely republished in England during the 1630s and 1640s. The costuming, we look to places like Plymouth Plantation for examples, and also there's a lot of English Civil War reenactors in England and in the US, and the English Civil War happened in the early 1640s, so it's almost exactly the same period that we're portraying. So we look to those periods for our weapons and our clothing and the drills. We'll be looking at 2 different drills that we do. The first drill is with a pike. A pike is a very long pole with a point on the end of it. It's very commonly used in European warfare in the 15th, 16th, 17th, up to the 18th century. And it was used in battlefields mostly to protect musketeers in the later days. It takes a long time to load and fire a musket. And the pikemen would get out in front of the musket and protect them while they're reloading. So the pikes were a very fearsome weapon. Now, when you see the pikes and you think about the forests of New England, you'll think, well, that's not a very useful weapon in New England. And the answer is, it isn't. And although they were used in drilling for the first 20 or so years after the arrival of the English, they were pretty rapidly after that dropped as a weapon. And we use them because they are authentic and because it's a lot cheaper than a musket, which is one of the reasons they were used in those days as well. I think the important thing to know is that almost all of our members had absolutely no reenactor experience when they first began. So if somebody is interested in it and they just think it looks like fun and they like to dress up, or they like the idea of firing a musket or carrying a sword with them around town, we're always welcoming new members. We have a new member here today who you just met. So we're always welcoming new members, and we have a great time. We really enjoy ourselves, and having fun is the most important part really for us. We really enjoy it. So we're people from all walks of life. And our common interest is our interest in history. We have everyday people. I work in IT. A few of the other people work in IT. So we come from my wife was a technical writer before she recently retired. We love our history. We love bringing Plymouth history to people. There's other people doing it in town, but the other people doing it don't bring it right downtown. We like to bring our history right to downtown Plymouth, and in the parades and our Pirates and Pilgrims event in May. So we have a great time bringing that history to life.
You know, that was really interesting. And as you watch the parade, very few people know any of this.
Right, and of course, starting chronologically with the Pilgrims and with the fact that they all had something to defend. See, the people realized that when the Pilgrims came here, there was a certain sense of liberty that they wanted to protect. And that's why so many of the Drum and Bugle Corps and the units deal for the protection of liberty. And that's why they'll have those things. And of course, the new Plymouth Guard is not just in the Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Yeah, where else do they go?
They work all throughout the year. They have a special pirate and Plymouth type of demonstration. They were in the 375th of the town of Sandwich. They're down at the Uptuxet Trading Post, another rebuilt replica in 1627 of the Pilgrims, where they deal with the Dutch traders and the different things that took place. So they're really in a reenactment. We call it a snapshot of history.
Right.
Authentic costumes. And this is what makes the parade so valuable, because so many units like that try to be specific to detail of history.
Right. That's fascinating.